Roxo Media House.
Heavy, heaves, Miller, Emmanuel Miller for the win! Oh, come, Emmanuel! TCU wins!
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Jamie Dixon. I'm standing in for Bingo Merriex today. Coach, it's March. It's March Madness. It's here upon us. How are you doing, by the way?
Oh, good. I mean, off day today, and you prepare. It's kind of with the late Friday game. You're in the hurry to play. You think as you get the bracket and it comes out, and then all of a sudden you realize you're not playing no Friday at late at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. So then you want to know, okay, now we can't overwork them. You got to have them fresh, and you got to have them rested. So a day off in between to break it up, and a couple good practice going into the game is the plan.
You're one of 9 current active coaches to been in the dance 15 or more times. Mm-hmm. Pretty prestigious thing. You've also 3 times in a row for TCU, a program record. How does that stuff make you feel?
Well, I know most of those guys are older than me, so that's the best thing. I saw that, so I'm doing all right. But yeah, I mean, there's some good names on that list that somebody forwarded to me, and they've won a lot of games, and but you got to be at good places. You got to be able to have administrations that believe in you and support you. You got to make the best out of what situation you have. I mean, a lot of those guys are at the blue bloods, and so I guess we'll call TCU a blue blood, or at least a purple blood.
Fair enough.
To do that. So it's fun. It's why I came here. I mean, and I said it when I got here that you're going to be mad when we don't win. When we don't win NCAA tournament games, and so that's kind of where we're at now. You got to win some, and you got to advance, and they're going to want the Final Four. So. It's what happens when you elevate, and it comes with it. And I laugh about it. I predict it, and they say, "No, that won't happen. It'll happen." And
part of having a winning program, Coach. Yeah. Well, before we talk about March Madness, talk about the season recap real quick, if you don't mind. 21-12 overall, 9-9 in the most brutal conference in the country, without question. Do you feel like, obviously, the Big 12 tournament didn't turn out the way you expected, but do you feel like the season overall? Obviously, we're in the dance. Does that make everything okay?
No, I mean, like I just said, it's never enough as far as a coach, and that's what I joke about with fans, or as far as now we have fans. The apathy was beyond explanation back in the day, but it's you always want more coaches. You can't fault that with the fans, because we're doing the same thing. We want more, and we want to do better. So yeah, I thought we could be. We're about where we picked. We had so many new guys. New guards is always a challenge, and all new guards is not recommended. I thought we could get better earlier with it, but we didn't. It was some challenges, and defensively we improved, and I think we're getting there. But certainly expectations are mine are always higher than anybody else's. So start with that premise. And no, but I thought we'd be better defensively earlier, but we're pretty good right now. So that's when you want to be. And, we weren't healthy the entire, so those things factor in. But, we got to win our home games. We got to do a better job in that area, and we've got to, road record was good enough, but we gave away a couple at home that you just can't do, and 4 losses at home. And I've said from the day, we got to get to the point where we win every home game, and we just haven't been able to get there. And so that's where we've come short, I think, in the here. And we've got to work on atmosphere and students there all the time, and playing better at home and being used to a home court advantage. And so I've got to do a better job in that area. So that's the one thing. That's probably the thing, if you ask me, the thing that I felt we didn't. You can't lose 4 games and get to the goals that at home that I want to get to. So, these are challenges that we never thought we'd be talking about, and just be happy to get some getting the NIT. Remember now, I was talking about this, and we weren't getting to the NIT. We weren't, there was and they've had great coaches here. That's the thing. Trent Johnson won wherever ever been. Billy Tubbs won wherever he was at. All right, like these guys won at other places. So that's the thing that we have to understand and look at.
Yes, indeed. You certainly built an incredible culture here with this program, so kudos to you on that. We'll be right back with State of the Frogs with your head coach, Jamie Dixon, with our student question of the week.
Energy does everything for us. It's all-encompassing.
We're all benefiting and affected from it.
And it is something that we all need to know about.
It is the glue that holds everything together.
TCU is powering what matters, our future.
We don't just talk about what's needed, we focus on results.
The Ralph Lowe Energy Institute is creating a world where energy is affordable, sustainable, and reliable.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Jamie Dixon. I'm your host, J.W. Wilson. Our student question comes from student Jax.
My name is Jax Traeger. I'm a sophomore accounting major from Houston, Texas. And Coach Dixon, I've got a question for you. Is there a difference between preparing for an NCAA tournament game versus maybe regular season game, like travel and game plan and attitude and things like that?
Coach, what do you think?
Jax, good question. I was doing this as many times. I was informed I've been there 15 times. I was there as an assistant. I remember the first time I've been there as a player at the NCAA tournament, but Hawaii is the first time they'd ever been to the NCAA tournament. We won, and we had no staff or anything. We won the tournament. We're going, and no one knew what to do, so it fell on me as the operations or whatever. I was the restricted earnings coach, and no one knew what to do. And as I've gone through it now, you prepare, like there's this excitement about who you're playing. You find out, and then you don't know what time you're playing. You don't know how you're getting there, all these things. So you just kind of get now we get video right away. Before you had to go UPS. No, we didn't have UPS. You had to get FedEx. So you'd wait 2 days to get a copy of a film from it. So it's, you get into the opponent. Thomas Montegale takes care of the travel, which you're not going to know where you're going to be, when you're going to practice. So a lot of things come into play. But the NCAAs, they got to understand this now. They got to move 68 teams, immediately. Mm-hmm. And 8 are playing Tuesday and Wednesday in the play-ins. And, so there's a process. And now we're the late game on Friday. So we still don't know when we're leaving, how we're getting there. And we're at Wednesday, we're at Tuesday here now. So, but I knew that was coming. You don't see me panicked. This guy wouldn't be able to handle it, but he'd want to be.
It's quite a logistical.
He'd be screaming at people, but I've been doing it a while. So
it's quite a logistical feat. March Madness is. I know you have a lot of moving parts. Mainly the team you mentioned before the show that you don't want to over practice them because they've been going through a long, hard season. Not to mention a Big 12 tournament that was it's always brutal. How do you manage the number of practices versus the amount of rest they're getting?
Well, you don't know, so you got to wonder about. And obviously, we won one game in the tournament, finished on Thursday. You want to get after it again because you lost, but you also need rest. And we had some guys banged up. E-Man hurt his ankle. Ernest is not recovered. So we, when you're talking about, two of your top, Esam had got his face, lip, and teeth rearranged prior to the so like you got things going. So all those things factor in. And you want to get better. You want to practice, but then you realize you can't go for 5-6 straight days because that doesn't make you better for the Thursday or Friday that you're playing. So, you try to factor in where you think you're going to be, but when you're in the league of the best league in the country, like I've been in every year of my career, there's going to be 6, 7, 8 teams. So you could be moved to any spot. Somebody's got to fill the West Coast. Somebody's got to be. So can't figure that out. But you try to plan. You don't want to put in a position where you overwork them. If anything, you want to err on the side of under working them, and at this time of the year, and so there's a lot of things to factor in. But we practiced Sunday, and that I think thinking possibly Friday. so we could go Sunday, Monday, off today, Tuesday, and then practice Wednesday, Thursday. So that's kind of how it played out. We got it right, and now we got to play well.
Well done, Coach. Well, before we go on to break, I'd like to ask you a little more on a more somber note. Last week you lost to TCU legend Frank Windegger.
Right.
I knew him well. I know you played for him. You knew him quite well as well. Could you share a couple of thoughts and things about Frank Windegger?
Yeah, we're the funeral and service going to be there, and he was always stayed in touch, and he was kind of the constant for me. Our coaches left afterwards, and but he was the guy that was here for a couple of years afterwards for me. But my story is, I remember I was very quiet, didn't say a word. I know that may find it hard to believe now, but in college, but afterwards I graduated or was finishing up. We just won 2 conference championships. I was a pretty good player, all league, and I was a scholar athlete, which there wasn't many. There must have been a bad crew back in the day of who was available, but I had to take a class in the summer. The draft was a whole different thing. The whole world was different, right? And my point is, I had to go in and see Frank, and didn't know where I was going to live, stay, to get I had to take another class or 2 to graduate, which I kind of wanted a position because I didn't know where to go or where to live. I didn't have anywhere, and so I had to go ask for money for room and board, and if they'll pay for the class. It was really, that was the time, that's how things were back in the day. A little different than now, and NIL and what the kids get now. And so, I was so excited that he gave me the okay that they pay for the class to get my finance degree, and the per diem, the room and board check of $400, so I could actually have somewhere to sleep for the next month or 2 and prepare, to play and get drafted, which I got drafted like a month or 2 after that. But I remember going in for that conversation, being all nervous and having to. So he took care of me.
The beloved man, Coach Frank Windegger. Well, we're sorry to lose him, and he was definitely a legend around these parts.
He loved the Frogs.
We will be right back with State of the Frogs with one of your TCU's all-time greats, Emanuel Miller. Be right back.
Welcome to the Squire Shop.
We are locally owned and operated since 1994.
We specialize in the finest men's clothing that the market has to offer at affordable prices with unbelievable service.
We do custom clothing all the way to more casual, Peter Millar, Johnny O, kind of everything. Well, my dad's the owner, so I've been around retail my whole life. Oh, it's great. I mean, it's the best boss I'll ever have. I know that.
We love our TCU community. They have been so good to us. Come see us today. Go Frogs!
Simply the best barbecue in Fort Worth. Dine in, catering, or drive-through. 2900 Montgomery, just off I-30. Remember, the best barbecue in Fort Worth is at Railhead Smokehouse.
TCU is down 2.7. Micah Peavy will inbound. Peavy, baseball catch. Miller got it. Right side. 3-pointer. The punt. Are you kidding me? He's off the glass. Emmanuel Miller has nailed a 3-pointer at the buzzer. And TCU has won it against Georgetown.
Welcome back to State of the Frogs with your head coach, Jamie Dixon. The guy sitting next to me, though, one of the TCU's all-time greats, Emmanuel Miller, known simply as E-Man. Thanks for being here, my man. Appreciate
you. Having me.
Your career's winding down here, but it's also winding up in some ways. You came back. You told us last year you came back for one of these, a chance to win this thing.
Yeah.
And you did. You're here again.
Yeah.
On the verge of round 1. How are you feeling?
Excited. I'm excited for the progression that TCU has had over these years. I'm excited that TCU basketball in March Madness is kind of becoming the new norm, when in previous year it hasn't really been done like the way we've been doing things, and I'm excited.
Third straight year for you and for the program, a program record, but does it still have that new feeling to it, even though you've done this 3 times in a row?
In a sense, yes, and mostly because, being recruited here by Jimmy Dixon and the whole staff, we talked about how we want to change the culture. We talked about how we want to bring back TCU basketball to its fullest potential, and making the tournament each year is a sign that that's the things that we've accomplished. And it's new in the sense that, yes, this is something that we've been doing, but new in the sense that we're continuously doing it.
Surely. You've had a lot of memories, I suspect, on the court. Any memories of the campus overall, TCU, that you can share with us?
Really, every single day that I'm on campus is a new memory, just because the students, the faculty, the professors, they make each day feel like it's a new day. They bring so much light into my day to the point where I'm just grateful to be here.
Man, if everybody had your attitude, E-Man, this place would be the world would be a better place. But you're beloved to a lot of people around here. And all number twos finally reaching the end point here. But any favorite memories of games you played that stand out? Obviously, you've been in some huge ones.
I've been in a lot of crazy games since my tenure here. One of my favorite games, I would have to say, it's probably that Arizona State game. And I know we lost, and it's going to sound crazy, but I've never felt so much love from a community before after that game. I had a big hit that took place in the game. Nosebleed, was gushing all over. Bad to look at, but I've never seen so many people reach out just to make sure I'm okay. I know a lot of fans were upset that we lost the game, but a lot of fans were more upset that I was hurt, and that just showed the love of the community, and that's my favorite part.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
This season, you were fourth in the Big 12 in scoring, 15.9 per game.
Yeah.
You were 11th in rebounds at 5.9, and you were third in shooting percentage at 48.7%. Top of my head right there. You're the only player to score at least 10 points in all 18 Big 12 games. And I think it says you were 20 points plus 9 times this season. I mean, you've had a wonderful career. You're a good dude. I mean, we're just grateful that we had you on this campus. I'm glad you chose TCU.
Thank you.
Now, let's get to March Madness, if you don't mind. What are your thoughts on Utah State?
Thoughts on Utah State. We know that they have a player of the year in their big man. I know that he seals early. He's really their focal point on their offense and defense, very active. I know that our defense has throughout the season progressed. I know through the last 2 conference games, in the rankings, our defense is going up. The TCU, the players, we could feel our defense getting better. And I think that's what's going to lead us to one of the key points to that game, just because on the offensive end, we can get it done. Yes, we struggled against Houston last game, but that's just missed shots. We know those shots are going to drop. So locking in on defense and keying in onto their game plan is going to be our game plan.
Have you found things to work on since the Big 12? I wouldn't say it's a disappointment. Obviously, we all thought you'd make it to the big dance, which you have.
Yeah.
But you didn't win the whole thing. I know that's always a season goal, but
yeah.
Do you find things from the tournament to work on, to improve, to bring to this next game?
Yeah, for sure. We missed a lot of bunnies against Houston, so we've been working in practice of just jump stopping, playing off 2 feet, reading the defense, making the right reads. We have plays where we can work on those. And other than that, yeah.
Is your bot? You guys have played a long season.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's the hardest conference in the country by far.
Yeah.
Is your body holding up okay? Are you guys tired? Are you guys getting plenty of rest?
No, I think we're more energized than ever. It might sound crazy, but a lot of the new guys are excited. Some players that didn't make the tournament, haven't been to the tournament yet. We have some new faces on the team that's going to be in a new scenery. I know they're excited. The returners are excited to not only prove the world, but to prove ourselves that we belong in this tournament. We want to stay in this tournament, and we're ready.
The guys' mindset on the team, obviously they probably look to you for some leadership, some guidance. The guys you mentioned that haven't been there.
Yeah.
The overall feeling of the team, does everybody feel optimistic? Everybody's ready to get it done? Are they ready? How's the
a lot of players look to me, but in a sense, I look to a lot of players as well, and that's the collectiveness of this group. We could all rely on one another. We could all count on each other for positive and reinforcement. Any type of feedback is great, and I think that's what makes this group so special.
Nice. That's wonderful to hear. How do you want to be remembered, E-Man, for your time at TCU? What do you want people to say about the great number 2 when he's gone?
I just want people to know how much I care. You could teach how to shoot a basketball, you could teach how to play defense, but what you can't teach is toughness. And I want this community to remember that I cared, I played tough, and I put my heart into this game.
I think we all would agree that's how we see you, man. We appreciated watching old number 2 on the court. Go do your thing in Indianapolis. 9:55 at the field house there. It's a late game.
Yes, sir.
We'll all be tuned in. You got any family going?
My whole family.
Whole family
Yeah,
going?
whole family.
As they should, right?
Yeah.
Well, we've enjoyed you, man. You've been a legend. You're a legend here. One of the all-time greats. One of my favorite players ever.
Thank
watched.
you. Thank
so
you.
Good luck to you guys in the tournament. Go beat Utah State.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's been State of the Frogs with your head coach, Jamie Dixon, and this guy, Emanuel Miller, one of TCU greats. Thank you very much.
We're lucky to have a collective that's as strong and as powerful as the Flying T Club. It's a big deal for us. It is a game changer. You know, I would just encourage any fans out there to support it. Everyone asks me, what's the biggest priority? And I say, NIL is big. Please jump on board, show these student athletes how much they mean to you. The thing about NIL is I think there's a right and a wrong way to do it, and the Flying T Club's do it the right way. Let's keep winning. Join the Flying T Club today.
Back to you with State of the Frogs with your head coach, Jamie Dixon. Coach, you just heard from Emanuel Miller. His career's winding up. One of the all-time greats. There's no question about that. What can you say about this guy?
I mean, got better at the things that we had a plan for when we recruited him. Wanted to develop him from a 5 to a guard, really. And it happened. You make promises, you make demands, you make plans. And it all came to fruition. I mean, he became a guy that can guard on the perimeter, make decisions, shoot as a guard. He got better every year, and you can see it from the time he got here, and he got better at the things that we had emphasized in the recruitment. So a great story, a great individual for our program, represents. He's so personable. He loves TCU. I mean, his interview after our loss in the NCAA tournament, after the heartbreaking loss to Gonzaga after beating Arizona State, was, I think, went viral for his passion and love for TCU. And that when 70 million people are figuring out brackets and watching who's going to thing, and that goes out and plays, and admissions just got a whole lot easier over there for Heath Einstein and the crew. So, he just speaks. He loves it here. We made a plan, and he lived up to it. We lived up to it, and we got better from the time he got here.
Just a great human being as well. Thanks, Coach, for sharing that. All right, Coach, before we, on our last segment, let's talk a little March Madness. It's why we're all here. It's what we've been waiting for. It's what we come to expect out of you. You've done it again, third time in a row. Utah State this Friday. Yeah. What can you tell us about Utah State?
Well, I mean, that's a program that's probably people know. They're always good. They have a home court. Speaking of home courts, they have a home court advantage there. Their record there for years has been unbelievable. The students are right there. They're perfectly placed. They're emphasis. They're there every game. They've had great coaches. Stu Morrill's the guy I was most familiar with. Odom won there. Go down the list of guys. And then they got a new coach that I coached against, Danny Sprinkle, who was a freshman when I started coaching in Northern Arizona, which is about 25, 30 years ago, I guess. And we patterned our team once we got better at Montana at Northern Arizona after that first team at Montana State. They had inside presence, they had some shooters, and a really good point guard. And so known forever is what I'm saying, Danny. But Utah State's always won. They've people don't realize how, if you look at their record over they've always been the top of their league, and they were Big West, and they went Mountain West and WAC. So really good team, really balanced offensively. They run good stuff. They score inside and out. They play through their big guy, and there's not a lot of teams that do that, but they do it and do it well.
I saw the Mountain West Conference regular season champs. They lost in the championship a couple days ago to San Diego State, who was last year's national championship runner-up to UConn. So, yes, I'm good to know a little about Utah State. Danny Sprinkle, you have a feeling for how he runs, how he thinks at all? Is it that deep? Or
no. I mean, he's been a head coach for 3 years. He was 2 years at Montana State, his alma mater. Then he moved on to Utah State and brought some players with him that he'd coached. So I was wondering about that. You bring and take the players from your alma mater, and they make good choices.
Times have changed
because Obasars was worth it. So it's an interesting thing. But they run really good stuff, like I said, offensively. It's man-to-man, very little zone, maybe a little 1-3-1, rare occasions. But it's inside out, and they got experience. They took a Northridge kid that he recruited. They got the kid from Maryland. I don't know how they got him, who had gone to Utah with his dad out of high school way back in the day. So 6-year guys. It's a COVID-built program, like pretty much everybody. They're good. They won the Mountain West. That's all you need to know. And, certainly watch film and understand why they're good now.
And an all brand new team for that, all brand new players on this year's Utah State team. So that'll be very exciting. Coach, you've done this so many times now. I mean, do you still feel that special feeling that most of us fans get for March Madness? Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't have a bracket all filled out like you do right there and have a pool going, but we're not allowed to do that. But I got a single focus on the game ahead, and I think there's 68 teams, and I know the odds are higher for some guys and better for other teams, but I think every one of these 68 thinks that they can win the whole thing. Absolutely. And that's because every team's used to winning to some degree throughout the year, and and then you throw in what happened last year. There's just probably a belief that all 68 think they're going to win the whole thing. So, as they should. Yep.
That's why it makes it so great. It's going to be fun, and you enjoy it. And like I said, I know I've gone, I guess, as much as anybody in the business, but everyone is it can't lose its luster, because it is it's the biggest sporting event in the world, I think they say. I mean, for 3 weeks, nothing's bigger.
Yes, sir.
And sure, the Super Bowl's big for that day, but this thing for 3 weeks, everybody's checking their bracket, and they're talking about TCU if they're going to win, and that's a good thing for TCU and a fun thing to be a part of.
Anything special the team does once they arrive in Indianapolis? I know you have meetings, you have practices, you have food.
You'd be amazed. Yeah, and then you got to do media, and that's the thing. You got to have to practice at the arena. You got to be out there for 40 minutes, which you don't get enough done, and you don't want to do those things in front of an open practice. So you got to go practice again. So there's that balance of not overdoing it. Mm-hmm. Again, as I talked about earlier, you got to go do the media and sit in the locker. The guys are furious. You got to sit for half an hour waiting for you guys to come in and eat the refreshments and the potato chips over there. So it's it's all takes care of itself. Like you get there. So. No, we're not going to the Indianapolis 500 racetrack and taking a spin. We'll be preparing.
Fair. 9:55 p.m. Gainesbridge Fieldhouse, Coach. It's a late game. Wish you luck. That bracket you see right there, you see who's on the champions bracket. I got $10 on that. I hope you can help me win some money.
Yeah, it's illegal. We can't do it. So.
I understood.
Right.
Coach, good luck to you. Thank you again. This has been State of the Frogs with your head coach, Jamie Dixon. Thank you to Autobahn Porsche as well. Appreciate you guys.
Roxo Media House.